What's going on, YouTube? Ferocity here. Hope you guys are doing well. This time last year, we were waiting for the release of XDefiant. And here we are a year later, preparing for its departure. Preparing for it to officially go offline, which happens on June 3rd. Now, players like myself don't want to see this happen, as XDefiant is still a ton of fun. But unfortunately, Ubisoft pulled the plug, in my opinion, a little too early. But let's not talk about XDefiant's demise too much in this video. Instead, let's shift focus to one of the lead developers for XDefiant, Mark Rubin, somebody who I've talked a lot about here on this channel, as he just continuously dunks on Call of Duty and highlights the problems with the franchise. It all starts with this tweet from Mayhem. Just finished another session. I missed the game and it's not even gone. Thank you for making a game with fans in mind. Activision deserves what's happening to them for putting money and greed over just making a game that's fun. I'll never go back. To which Mark Rubin replied, thank you. A lot of games, Call of Duty included, just focus on how to make the most money possible out of the player base. They rely heavily on FOMO marketing and EOMM matches, but I feel like it used to just be more about the quality of the game, which would drive players to play, and that means making the game more player-centric, i.e., less engagement-based tactics and higher quality experiences for the players. Better maps, better modes, etc. In other words, your game should have a high player count because it's good and people want to play it, rather than the people playing it because the game has a $250 million marketing budget. Everything I just said is very simplified, as it would take too long to really go into it. One last simple analogy. Be more like Larian, less like Activision. Man, I don't think I'll ever be able to forgive Ubisoft for just pulling the plug on this game far too early, especially when you have somebody like Mark at the helm. Yes, he made some mistakes. Yes, there were problems with XDefiant, but man, when it comes to understanding this community, understanding what people want, he gets it. Because yes, that's right. It's about putting player experience over player engagement. You center your game around the experience the player is going to have, you will have player engagement. But when you focus solely on player engagement, like what Call of Duty likes to do, with their events, with their seasons, with everything they're doing, you don't have an experience that is about the player. You have an experience that is always fleeting, always pushing you to the next thing to earn, instead of just sitting back and enjoying what you get to play. It's always about the grind in Call of Duty, and I've talked about this a lot, but it's true. That's all Call of Duty has anymore, because they can't rely on fun gameplay, because the gameplay isn't its cornerstone anymore. It's the engagement optimization that they've been able to put into the game. That's the cornerstone of Call of Duty. That is what has shifted. And I know Call of Duty is not alone in this, but they are the main focal point of the FPS community right now. They're the golden child. They're the ones that everybody has to compete against. And what made XDefiant so refreshing was that they were trying to create something player-focused. They could have gone and cheated out with engagement-optimized tactics, and issues like their desync and their hit registration probably wouldn't have been as massive, because players would have been quote-unquote engaged. But when they wanted to center the game around player experience as being the core mechanic that keeps drawing you in, yeah, problems like desync and bad hit registration are going to be problematic. It would have been really nice to see Ubisoft give the XDefiant team the freedom to break away from those problems and really focus on player-centric mechanics. But unfortunately, Ubisoft got cold feet, pulled chute, and now we have just a little over a month left to enjoy XDefiant. It kind of sucks. Mark Rubin also replied to the tweet we were talking about earlier and said, I just want to add, there are some great people at Activision and their studios. I just think they evolved into something they weren't and haven't been able to escape. Man, that is very true. I think Call of Duty has evolved into something that is problematic. Something that is a testament to where we're at in the gaming industry, where yes, we're putting profits over everything else. all we care about is trying to nickel and dime every single player instead of trying to draw them in with fascinating game mechanics and, frankly, just a fun overall experience. I think that's why so many people are looking forward to GTA. Well, yes, I'm sure GTA is going to make a ton of money. I think people are just looking forward to a game that is going to be gameplay and story centric. Something that is going to be worth remembering, worth playing. And we just don't have that with a lot of games now. A lot of massive AAA games. Because you look at the best-selling games that are out there, a lot of them are just microtransaction focused, engagement focused. And yes, it works. Not saying it doesn't. But what happened to those player-centric experiences? That's really the problem right now within this industry. We've decided collectively to put players on the back burner in favor of shareholders that probably don't even play the video games they are profiting off of. That's a problem. Gaming used to be about passion. It used to be by the players for the players. And now it's by the shareholders for other shareholders. And it just doesn't work. It leaves us behind. And this isn't to say anything about your precious Call of Duty game. Don't worry. If they made it player-centric, it would be better. You can still have fun. You can enjoy the engagement optimization that they are shoving down your throat. That's the point, after all. That's what they want. They want you to buy into the engagement optimization. They don't want you to think about how much better it could be. They don't want you to think about what a player-centric experience could deliver. Because trust me, it would look a lot different. It would be a lot better. It'd be a lot more enjoyable. Because like Mark Rubin said, they used to be this way. They used to care about quality. They used to put players first. That's how COD 4 happened. That's how MW2 from 2009 happened. That's how Black Ops 2 happened. Player-centric decisions. But now what we get is engagement optimization decisions. Because we have to continuously inject players with FOMO, continuously inject players with more and more rewards for the grind, and continuously distract them away from the experience we're actually delivering. Because when you step away from all of the engagement optimization, you begin to realize Call of Duty is not made for the player, it is made for the shareholder. That's where Call of Duty is today. And it sucks that XDefiant couldn't succeed as being a player-centric game because the shareholders got a little scared. That sucks. It just goes to show money talks and BS walks. That's the problem right now. Because in reality, XDefiant should be the one succeeding and Call of Duty should be the one failing. But that's not the reality we live in. No. Instead, we live in this hellscape. But that's enough with the doom and gloom. I do want to urge you, if you are an XDefiant fan, to go back and enjoy that game for the last month of its existence. I know I will be, and I hope to see you there as well. So that's it for the video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it down below in that comment section. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.